I am trans because there's no other way for me to be. Before realizing I was trans, it always felt like something just wasn't quite right. Things just didn't quite feel or fit the way that everybody else seemed to have such an easy way of feeling. It has really helped me create kind of that home inside my own body. So being able to come out and being able to transition, I was able to really lean into my own authentic self. I was able to find joy in existing and in being present within my body. I've developed a community that I wouldn't trade for the world. I began to acknowledge my trans identity when I had more exposure and more time within the queer community, seeing other people so at home with themselves and so accepting of themselves, and kind of going against different rules that I thought had been put up in place just by different societal norms. My vision of myself has changed along the way because I feel like being trans has allowed me to kind of push the limits of what I thought I was capable of or what I could be, and it's really helped me break down some of those expectations that were put on me. And because I do that in my life with my trans identity and with my gender, I feel a lot more comfortable pushing back against barriers and expectations in other areas of my life as well.
I am trans because I value the experience of living life how I want to be. I really think that if I was born in any kind of body, I still would have been trans. It took from around 2015 to 2020 to go on an evolution of finding myself through this. There's an innate value to exploring identity and yourself without constraint. My journey with dysphoria is spending majority of my life not feeling like myself, and that's severely affecting my ability to connect with others. And when I found ways to eliminate this dysphoria, that went away. I've been abused since coming out as trans in a variety of ways. Since coming out, I've lost a majority of my friends that I made growing up. I've lost the closeness of connections that I once had. I lost connection to family. The difficult thing about being trans is the way that you volunteer yourself to be treated differently and often worse. My life has been made easier by being trans, by being able to be myself and go outside and not feel this urgent anxiety that I can enjoy life being perceived and perceiving myself the way I want to be.
I am trans because it is the most comfortable existence for me, even though it is one of the hardest things I've ever done. My journey with dysphoria is something that I didn't realize until I really started puberty. All of a sudden, a lot of things started happening physically that I was kind of feeling like, what is this? I didn't have the language or the words to describe what I was going through. Since coming out, I lost a lot of my hometown community. I grew up in a pretty small town and I don't feel very safe going back to it. And physical and emotional changes have affected me as a trans person in ways that as a baby trans, I couldn't even conceptualize. After I had top surgery, which is something that I had been trying to accomplish for 10 years, I looked at other people who had had top surgery. I would look at them and just imagine how euphoric it would feel. And not that I don't feel euphoric afterward, I definitely do, but it's not this overwhelming sensation of just loving myself all the time like I thought it would be. It's just a feeling of being content.
I am trans because my genes are mine. My testosterone has restored my body image. Getting top surgery took more than the literal weight off my chest. It took more than just wearing a t-shirt. It took away the heaviness of wearing a binder more than I should have been wearing for longer than I should have. My journey with dysphoria has come a long way over the last 5 years. Since coming out as trans, I have lost some friendships and some people as a result of time and distance, and more of a lack of similar experiences or activities I no longer participate in, such as a women's sport or as a participant and now a spectator. I began to acknowledge my identity when I found myself talking to other queers about their experiences. My queer circle is now more full of relationship anarchists. I found a local queer in my community who was also about to take that plunge and change their hormone treatment. We talked for an hour or hours walking around Capitol Lake. From that day, I began to identify as trans. The vision I had of myself changed when I no longer saw myself as a masked non-binary, but rather as a trans man. Low-dose testosterone was a change. I started to experience voice changes 3, 6 months, and longer until this voice. Emotionally, I was feeling euphoric about my voice being masculine and being sirred over the phone, or being recognized as a masculine being without seeing my face.
I'm trans because I'm trans and because I've only experienced my adult life as a transgender person. It's not something that I really think about or worry about the way that I used to. My journey with dysphoria has been really interesting. I first realized I was trans right after I turned 15, and so it was very this internal experience that I was having where I was hyper analyzing the way that I dressed and the way that I talked and the way that I held myself. When I was 17 was when I first became friends with another trans person. I was only really around people that I went to church with who were mostly straight, at least at that time. And so I was encouraged to come out to my youth pastor and his wife, and we sat down and I explained it to them, and their reaction to it was first that I needed to tell my parents immediately or I was lying to them, and that with the help of my parents we could figure it out together, which in hindsight, knowing that what they meant by that was me not being trans. But I definitely feel I experienced spiritual trauma at the hands of the church that I was at. My whole relationship with the church at that point, emotionally difficult, because I was really trying to find solace in a very difficult and confusing time of my life, and being in a place where I saw all of these people around me reaching out to God and finding something there, and then as I was reaching out and not finding anything there. But I do know that I feel a really deep camaraderie and shared experience with other trans people, and it's impossible for me to imagine my life not being founded around that early teenage experience of sort of dissecting my gender and trying to understand it, as I was also dissecting and trying to understand my religious beliefs and my political beliefs.